Alright, everybody. Welcome back to another round of Grand Tactician Civil War. Just finished up, rather, the battle out here in the Shenandoah Valley. And managed to push the Confederates out a little bit. Oh, okay. Well, looks like it's time to build another prison camp, which is good. But, at the same time, it'd be even better if we didn't have to spend that money, but it is what it is, right? I mean, we can't refuse to house prisoners, so um, yeah. Now we could go ahead and do another round of Cornus King, um, but since we are also looking in the near future at doing things like the Emancipation Proclamation and potentially feed Europe, I don't think we're actually going to go and get another round of Cornus King. I think what I want to do is I want to go and finally get our farm mechanization. That'll be really good for us. So that will be, I think, where I'm going to save up for on our agriculture policy. So. And we're really starting to see a lot of our economic policies that we've been doing starting to pay off, right? Because you remember there for a while, we were almost at 300 million loss per year. Now we're down to just over 200 million. So that is good for us. That is good for us. So, but theoretically, this over here should be resolving here pretty soon. It says it's resolved, but we'll see. In the meantime, let's just take a look around. Kind of maybe do a little bit of spring campaign planning. I like where we are from a defensive standpoint out in the West. But if we try to do any offensive stuff, the way these two armies are, it looks like we could take Fort Smith, but I think it would actually be a bit of a trap. But what might be possible is coming over, attacking the Army of Tennessee and seeing if we can't either threaten Nashville or maybe lure them towards us if we went for Chattanooga. And in the east, I'm really tempted to see if we can't bring the Army of New York over and really hit like either Lynchburg or bring it down so that the Department of Ohio has a good reinforcement and really make a bid for Tennessee. Might be something for you guys to put in the comment section what you guys think we should do next. Or at least in the spring. I will say one thing I'm still somewhat uneasy about is the fact that the Confederacy seems to have at least three good-sized armies in here. So in some ways, I'm not sure I would rather bring the Army of New York over just so that we have three armies to their three armies. Not sure it's necessary, though. Interesting. So one thing we do have is the potential to get better intelligence, and I think that might really be worth it. I'm almost tempted to go with their recruitment offices, but we also have that farm mechanization coming, so I'm not sure we actually need that. And the other thought might be rebore muskets, because we don't have a lot of Springfield rifle muskets in stock, but we're also we're getting to the point where we don't need to keep ordering massive numbers until we start recruiting more units. So I'm not sure that's the best call. On the other hand, armored gunboats wouldn't be a bad thing. It's not something we've had a lot of need for, but if we were able to increase the ability of our fleets to, not always be having to get stopped and go back to port, that wouldn't be bad. But I think for now we'll go ahead and recruit agents, just to increase the level of knowledge we can get. Well, it looks like the Confederates are trying to push a little bit more for that British intervention. So, yeah. It's not super crazy, but it is going to give us a little bit of knowledge on where we need to be putting some of our efforts. So, that's okay. We're going to be doing all right. I am thinking, though, that I'm likely to try and bring the Army of New York down. Just to see what we can do about that. Yeah. So I was saying that bring the Army of New York down, help the Department of Ohio make a real bid for trying to capture Tennessee, um, for a number of reasons. The most important of which is that should peel off at least one level of ground force um, from enemy troop movements and um, campaign map level units. Not guaranteed, obviously, um, but it's something. We do have our 3-year contracts now, which is a big deal. That's good for us. Um, I think we're going to go with Feed Europe right now. That's going to increase our money a little bit, but it's also going to, improve relations. Just make it that much harder for the Confederates to keep going. Now, see, we now, with all of those agents that we recruited earlier, we're actually in a much better position than we were. Because now we're seeing where some of these enemy armies that we thought were in other places are. And it's a much, much better position. Now that we know about these guys, that changes our planning, right? Because they're in a position that if we bring this army down, they could spring all 3 of those on us. And if we did come down successfully to join the Department of Ohio, we're leaving West Virginia completely naked without any defense. Now, I'm really tempted to attack the army of Shenandoah just to make them pull troops back to prevent us from smashing into Richmond. Which to me means that the Department of Ohio is going to have to go attack these armies by itself. Now, maybe that's wrong, right? Maybe we don't need to do that. Well, that is definitely kind of where I see it. That being said, as always, if you guys have a better strategy, feel free to talk to me about it. I'm all ears. All ears. So. Man, I don't know how we're having such a massive deficit, though. I mean, it might be our army upkeep. Almost certainly it's our army upkeep. But I would think that we'd be doing a lot better. Um, so I don't know. Wondering if the company applications is what is doing so much. We'll keep it on auto manage for now, but it's expensive. If it is that. Oh, fantastic. They want to come to us. They want to do. I'm good with that. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have our good fight here. So it's saying they have slightly more troops than we do. Have a decent advantage in artillery. Apparently, I'm on the attack, which doesn't make sense to me considering that they came to us, but okay. Okay, and this is a map we've been on before, so I think we're likely to do the exact same thing we did last time, which is not something I would recommend in real world, but we're not in the real world, are we? Which I'm sure all of our troops are very grateful. That way they don't have to freeze as they get orders to march in March. And the temperatures are still, ridiculous, and it looks like it's rainy or snowy, light rain, 33 degrees. So basically freezing, but just not quite cold enough to actually go all the way down. Yeah, they're perfectly happy. This is nothing. And I will see you guys in a bit when we get closer to the fight. Alrighty, everybody. We're gonna go ahead here because we just recently pulled our cavalry back. And the reason we pulled our cavalry back is because we ran into Jeb Stuart's cavalry. Yeah, you're right, his cavalry. And they were right in here. And we had several Confederate units stretched out in a line here. So we're about to enter combat. I'm not super happy about that. Um, I think we'll be able to do okay. Yeah. I was thinking we weren't going to run straight into their lines, but good to have some confirmation. Non contact, so Not sure what's going on with the AI there. Now, content. Last time we were here, we had a Confederate cavalry unit that glitched out. So I'm gonna hope that we're not having that issue this time. That's what it looked like, which is fantastic. Alright, looks like we're starting to kind of do some good here. I think that's one cavalry unit, and I think 3 infantry units, but I'm not sure. Could just be 2 infantry units. But I think it'll be 3 as soon as Tombs goes. Trying to get some of these pressure units into the battle. They just don't seem to want to go. this may unfortunately turn into a bit of a 2-day battle just because kind of really need a lot of time just to get our troops into position, which is more than a little bit unfortunate, but I mean, it is what it is. At the same time, you can't get them to go too much faster than they already are because they'll get exhausted. So, it's, uh, it's been unfortunate, but at the same time, it kind of is what it is, whether we like it or not. So far, so good. Looks like we're gonna roll up their line. I guess they'll eventually discover that we're not coming from the other direction. Yeah, I guess we are, though. Alright. There we go. It did end up turning into a slight 2-day battle, but, I mean, not really. Not really. I kind of doubt we'll get any of these units, but just in case. We'll just let that clock play out. That's the unit either isn't actually there and there's a glitch, or there's a glitch not retreating, but that's okay. All right. Um, that's that is a major victory. 1600 to 9500. I will definitely take that all day long. All right, everybody, we are going to leave this episode here. And just want to say thank you for joining me. As always, feel free to leave comments, tips, and suggestions in the comment field. Hope to see you guys next time. Dragonheart, signing off.